And hello, everybody. Welcome to my Power Connection channel. And my name is Bobby Umar, and I'm here with Dan Willis. Say hello to the world, Dan.
Hello, world.
I'm so excited because, it's been, I'm excited to have a guest interview because it's something I've been working on in my feed. It's the work on the tech issues. I talked to the Social Life team yesterday, and now I feel like we're going to do this. And Dan is here, and I'm sure you can see and hear him. And I'm going to actually look at my phone to make sure that everyone is looking at us and listening to us and commenting, and we'll be able to look at the feed, which is super exciting. So welcome. I'm here every day at 8:30 a.m. Doing my Monday to Friday posts. And for me, it's something that I've been doing now for a while, for several months, and I'm excited to share thoughts with everybody. Now, if you are just joining us, let us know, comment below where you're from. Are you from North America, Europe, Australia, Africa, Asia? Just let us know where you're from. And then the conversation today is going to be about the power of social media conversations, because social media, you think that digital and social media is all about content, but it's actually conversations too. So we brought in a fantastic expert. Diana's here. Hey, Diana. Jesse Meacham here. Good to see you. And you can ask any questions of myself or Dan on digital marketing, as well as how to create really strong conversations via social media. That's really what the topic is about today. And again, if you'd like to see, like, comment, heart, tag people, share this on your pages. Let's get people part of the conversation so we can have a great discussion. And I'm delighted to have Dan here. Thank you so much for being very patient with our previous attempt. That was a major tech fail. And thank you so much for that. You are truly a kind and generous and very, very patient person. So welcome, Dan.
Yeah, no, it's great to be here. And I mean, I love catching your post that you put out every morning, you're live every morning, because it lines up well with my coffee time. So it's like, okay, I'll sit back, watch Bobby, see what he's up to. But I love learning the new tech too, because eventually I'm going to get this live thing. So to see everybody else struggle for me is always appreciated, right?
Yeah, we actually have a group for LinkedIn live stream content creators where we're sharing best practices, and we're trying to debug stuff and try different things. So people are on different platforms. For now, I'm doing Social Live, but I think that there are other ones that people will be using as well. But I've been pretty satisfied with Social Live. It's pretty comprehensive in terms of what they offer. So I kind of like that.
Yeah, I played with a few different ones now, so it's very interesting to see how they all work. But yeah, no, I love it. Just the opportunity to come in, and the time of day that you do yours is really cool, because as I see in chat, we've got people from the UK and Melbourne, so we've got Australia, we've got the UK and Europe, and then North America's just kind of waking up. So we get a little bit of everybody when we do it first.
Well, I mean, I've played with different times. I tried, 8:30 in the morning. I tried 12 noon for lunchtime. I tried 5 o'clock in the evening. No matter what happens, there's people being left out. So right now, the people who are being left out are people on the West Coast. So all my California friends, unless they are one of the 5 a.m. early wake up people,
right?
But otherwise, no, they're being left out. But some of them do wake up early, so you never know. But I think this is a good time because my kids just left. I get the interviews done, and then I can get to work.
Love it.
So why don't we? And I see people here. Andy's here from Hogwarts. Hey, Andy. That's I got the Hogwarts shirt. Rim is here. Hey, hello. Again, you're joining us. Tag people, comment, show where you're from, ask questions. But we're gonna dive right in by really asking Dan. The first question is, so Dan, what do you mean? What's the big deal about social, conversations and social media? What's the big deal here?
Yeah, I mean, all of us have our LinkedIn feeds, and we see the constant videos saying more content, do content. You gotta have 100 pieces of content.
I say that too.
And great, everybody's saying that, but I think what we're missing at the heart of it is the content's created for a purpose. It's not just content for content's sake. You're trying to engage your community, the people that you love to bounce ideas off of, or you're trying to bring value to. And if you're not creating content that's an opener to a larger conversation, you're kind of missing the point. To have 100 billboards out there that nobody can interact with, that's not the goal. That shouldn't be the aim. And that's the beauty of social media, is that it's social. And I think to a large extent, a lot of people just miss that opportunity. So I see people that go, oh, well, I'm putting out all this content and it's just not, it doesn't have the reach and it doesn't have the likes. And for me, I'm going, okay, well, you had 10 likes. How many of those people did you tag back with a question saying, you said you liked this piece of content. What is it you like about it? Or you thought this was curious. What was curious about that? Our ability to take our real world conversations that most of us are fairly good at. You go to a conference or an event, you see people just bouncing ideas off each other and having conversation. I think the more that we learn to do that with our digital platforms, the better everybody's going to be as far as creating content, but also seeing the power of replying to content in order to build authority.
Now that brings a really interesting question, which is, you gave this idea of the fact that if you have 10 people like your post, why not tag them? Now, what about some people say, well, yeah, but isn't that a little bit presumptuous or a little bit aggressive to tag people? Shouldn't I only engage those who comment? What do you say to that?
Yeah, so my response to that is I always think about it as if it was real world, okay? So if I'm at a conference or an event and I'm having a conversation just on the floor and somebody overhears it and goes, "Oh, I really like that." That's what I consider that like button being hit, is somebody kind of perking up and going, "Oh, what are they talking about? That's kind of cool." So for me, if they take the time to hit a like button, an insightful, whatever LinkedIn option is there, for me, that's an invitation to say, okay, well, I want to know more. I'm actually interested that you've engaged in this way. I'd like to know some more about what that is. So for me, it's not pushy. It's not like, oh, I'm trying to make you do something. You've already engaged. You took that first step. And then the follow-up is always something that's kind of, what are your thoughts on that? If it's insightful, what was insightful?
Yeah, I agree with that analogy. I would take it like at a professional business networking event. I'm talking with 2 or 3 people, and then a few people join in. They're liking the conversation. So for me, it's like people join the conversation. It's making a bigger circle. And so for me, I'll say, hey, Billy, so what brings you here? And I think that totally makes sense, and people don't see that. And it looks like a few people are commenting. Lisa's joining from Louisville. David Weaver from Germany is joining for the first time. David Altus is posting videos daily because it's fun and inspires others, teaches sometimes, which is good. So that's great. I love your tactic of tagging people. I don't do that. Like, I don't actually take the time to tag the likes. I just kind of focus on I might get a lot of comments, so maybe it's a bit much. But if you are trying to create more engagement, I think that's a really great tactic.
Well, even for the posts that get out of control. So occasionally 2-3 times a week, I'll get one that's trending and there's more comments than I can possibly, or more likes than I can possibly do. However, I still make the effort to go in and say, okay, maybe 3 or 4 of these likes that haven't commented, I'm going to engage with. And I think that's just a good best practice to show people that I'm more interested in the conversation and building a relationship with you than any of these metrics of actually having likes or I don't care about that. I care about the conversation and actually bringing value to the people that are here on the platform. And that's true here or Twitter or YouTube, anywhere else where I play. I have that policy. Yeah. The fun thing with this, though, is the reverse is also true. So your content or anybody else's content that I find in the feed, I don't just drop a like or an insightful or a curious. It always comes with a comment of substance. This is what I found in whatever you posted that was of value. Yeah. And what I love to see there is the second you take that time and invest in somebody else's content, it creates this beautiful conversation where other people are plugging in and the content creators plugging in. And you actually get that vibe, like a community is there having a conversation about something worthwhile. For me, I just get jazzed about it. I get pumped up when I see people actually being people and being social.
Yeah, and again, if you're just joining us, I'm interviewing Dan Willis. We're talking about how to create conversations via social media. This is part of my daily Power Connection channel and broadcast. If people are joining in, you can comment, you can like, ask questions about what we're doing. We're here to engage you for about 20, 30 minutes. Nicholas Wamala says, wow, I like this. Yeah, you should, because this is great content. We have amazing people here on our show all the time, like Dan, and he's top quality. I only bring quality people, so he's a quality guy, and so this is a great conversation. And segueing to what you just mentioned, which is sure, engaging on your own content and striking conversation is great. The other one is the strategic comments, and so there's some people out there who are really good. Like I know my friend Lila Smith, she's amazing at creating fantastic comments on other people's posts and starting conversations, as opposed to just having a quick like or saying that was great. So. Any sort of any sort of suggestions or ideas on that in terms of how to create conversation on other people's posts?
Yeah, so I hear a lot of the time, well, it's great. All these other creators are out there. They do it frequently. They've got massive followings, so it's easy for them to say these things. But it's so hard for me. Great. Hack their followings. You're a member of their community. They want you to engage. Check out their feeds. I do this once a day. I'll go into Grant Cardone or I'll go into Gary Vee, and there's 10,000 comments.
Yeah.
I don't care how strong Team Gary Vee is. They're not hitting everybody in there. And there's a lot of people that have very genuine, very transparent comments in there of, I'm struggling with this. I need help with this. Or here are my thoughts and criticisms on what this post is. And that's a huge opportunity for a guy like me that works in digital marketing to come in and share some of my authority and hopefully help some people. So again, for me, it's about building a relationship and saying, oh, you're having a hard time with this. I can see that in this comment. Here, let me pop in. And I'm not Gary Vee and I'm not Team Gary Vee, but I can still offer you some insights that might be helpful to you in this situation. So what I recommend is if you guys have a passion for something, whatever that may be, your business, your current product, service, whatever, and you're going through comments of leaders in your industry, look for people that are having struggles, that are having pain points that you can address and strike up a conversation. No content creator is going to be offended like, oh, you helped somebody in my chat. How dare you? That's not going to happen. If anything, they're actually going to plug into the conversation because that comment's going to get constant notifications in their feed. Oh, there's people talking on that thing I posted. What are they talking about? Hey, I have something to offer to that as well. Da, 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 da. And the conversation grows. It's just such a simple way to go about it.
Yeah, and the other question comes up is, what shows up in people's feeds? So like, when you see someone comment, let's say the feed, the notifications go up. You'll see, let's say Dan comment, but you'll see a portion of his comment, right? Yeah. And that's the part that also is important to keep in mind because that's what's going to engage them. Oh, so Dan says one of the most important things about digital marketing is ... It's like, oh, let me see what this thing is.
Yeah.
So that opening line can also be really helpful too when it comes to engagement.
I see something here from David Alto that I absolutely agree with, right? And that's being genuine in what you're doing. And that's another thing. I love LinkedIn Live. I love what it's doing. I love the daily video practice that I see a lot of people doing. Yeah. But one of the things that really is starting to grind me a little bit is the copycat or the mimic vibe, where each one has a little bit the same feeling as everybody else that's doing it. Yeah. And it lacks an element of being genuine. Whereas here, it's just you and me. You're rocking a Hogwarts t-shirt. I've got a Ninja Turtles t-shirt. We're drinking coffee. Like, this is not high-polished, high-production Hollywood stuff. This is just two guys being genuine and saying, it's 8:30 in the morning. Let's have a coffee. Let's start the day off right. Let's fire on all cylinders. There's something genuine and really appreciated in that. And I think the more that you engage that... the more that you engage that way in your comments where you're not somebody else and you don't have to be. Nobody expects you to be. What people love, though, is you being you and bringing your thoughts, your perspectives genuinely into the conversation. David, I love that comment, and it's exactly the right way to go.
Agreed. And I always say that the easiest person to be is yourself. And you don't want to spend all your time being someone that you're not. It's just not, again, from a personal brand perspective, which I'm very passionate about. Being authentic and being who you are, being vulnerable, being genuine, I think is really great. And for the most part, the other thing I'll say to people is just start. Like so few people are creating content. So few people are actually starting conversations. All you got to do is just start. Ask a question. Just share. Don't just be watching. Don't be what do they call it? People just watch the stalkers. Just to get in there. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's great to listen and learn, but engage people, and people are really sharing some great stuff. Dave says really great advice about leaving comments on people's chats. Rahela says love this idea of helping out commenters on influencer posts. That's great. Kenneth here from Texas. Dave says polish is 90s marketing, so be yourself is the best. Yeah, I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and so guys, I think Bobby touched on something really key there as well. There seems to be this unspoken fear of, oh, what if I say something and somebody doesn't like that it's there? And the reality is, guys, and this is so important with all social media, we all need to realize you're not that important. I'm not that important. A single comment left on a piece of content somewhere in the feed that is not going to forever tarnish your reputation, especially if it's only one person's insight or criticism that they don't agree with where you stand. I see things all the time that people don't necessarily agree with. Yeah. Oh, well, I'm big on relationships and building communities, but I'm not so hot on paid ads. Well, I hear all the time from people that go, well, you should be hot on paid ads. Right. okay, and I move on with my life, right?
Yeah.
Don't miss the opportunity to engage in a meaningful conversation out of the fear of what if. You miss out, and you do a detriment to not only yourself but to the community that you could bring value to as well. And I think the more that we dive in like that and take that risk, put our necks out there a little bit and share our own thoughts, the more that other people are willing to open up a bit and share some insights and share some thoughts. And that's how we just build a deeper value inside the community, for sure.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are also afraid of getting haters and trolls. And, like, I certainly get a lot because I'm out there all the time putting content out there, and I'm sometimes taking on controversial topics. But, the truth is most people are not. The ones who are going to engage are going to actually create really good, valuable, engagement and content and share with you. The odd troll comment, again, you can just ignore that stuff. Don't worry about that. Focus on the conversation that also really matter, because there's also conversations that matter and conversations that don't matter. And so it's important for everyone to discern the difference between those two, because there's some that contribute to conversations and learning and other ones that don't. So be mindful of ones that actually add value.
Yeah, and another way with trolls, some of my most loyal followers as far as creating my content were trolls. I did a whole workshop on love your trolls. And the idea is a troll at the very least spoke honestly. It may not have been positively, but they spoke in a genuine way and offered criticism. I never miss an opportunity when somebody trolls a YouTube video, or they troll a YouTube video, Twitter video I put out, or content here on LinkedIn. I actually really enjoy seeing that, because I'm not letting that go. I'm not just going to delete it off the cuff. I engage immediately. Oh, let's break that down. What is it specifically that really grated you? How did I really tick you off? And to see the conversations that come out of that, and by the end of it, they go, oh, so we're kind of on the same page. I just misunderstood a definition, or I mistook what you said. And now you've got this beautiful conversation where fear just went out the window. And instead, two people really got to know each other better. And everybody that was lurking watched this whole process and went, okay, hold on. So if I'm positive in the feed, there's going to be a positive conversation. If I offer criticism, this guy is not going to lash out at me or just delete my comment. He's going to have a conversation. So there's no downside to commenting. You create a really open, welcoming vibe when you love your trolls. Now, I also use the block button when appropriate. There are those that demand the block button. But don't shut down conversation just because somebody starts critical.
Yeah, no, I agree. And again, if you're just joining us again, we're talking about the Profit Social Media Conversation with Dan Willis, who's a digital marketing expert. And we're having some great chats here about this. And people are coming in saying, David, saying genuine and helpful. You can't please everyone, so don't even try. And I move on with my life. Yeah, there's a great quote from a movie with Russell Brand. And I'm going to go on living my life. And that's what you want to be able to do, which is great. Alyssa says, agree, being genuine, authentic in your content and interaction with others matters. David says, I think it's important to know when to walk away from certain conversations. That's a good question. When do you walk away from a conversation, Dan?
Yeah, so for me, it's constantly a question of who is getting value from this conversation. So if I see a troll comment, so this post sucks. This is a pretty common one you see from a troll. I'll respond with, what about this post really drove you nuts? And if the response is, you suck. Okay, well, at this point, there's no value. There's the conversation hasn't come any further. There's no clarity on that criticism. Yeah. So for me, that's where that would get deleted, because there's no value that I can bring to this person. They haven't offered any clarity. And the conversation isn't going to provide anything to the other people that are reading it. So for me, that's where I would walk away from it. Now, if the response comes back, well, your audio was crackling and it wasn't very good, that's where we have a conversation. Yeah, right. Perfect. Okay, so now we can actually have conversation back and forth. Again, it comes back to the real world. If I walk into a room and I have a conversation and some guy from across the bar goes, "You're a moron," I'd go over and have a conversation with the guy. If he continued with "You're a moron," I'd walk away from the conversation. Clearly.
So what I was going to say was, we could have a conversation about why you suck. But to what you're saying, I agree with, is that it becomes circular. So what I do is, I will engage in address, but when they say the same thing over and over again and they're not really listening, whether they say, well, no, you suck, no, you still suck, or whatever, then at that point, to me, that's where I leave, because I gave you a chance, I give you 2 chances to address what I'm talking about. You clearly don't want to, and that's the end of that.
Yeah, it's always about value. And sometimes the value may not even necessarily be for them. So I'm not necessarily always looking at the troll and going, are you getting what I want you to get out of this? Sometimes it's me being aware that the other people that are reading the content, that are reading the comments, they're also seeing this dialogue back and forth. And I want to make sure that they understand where I stand from my opinion and my viewpoint on it. And so for me, I will continue conversations where somebody who's critical isn't quite grasping what I'm saying, so long as I feel like the community that would read it later is going to get value from both sides being shown.
Mm-hmm. And again, this is a great conversation on social media about conversations. Let me also segue into a couple other areas. Now, again, for everyone who's watching, again, if you're liking this, like, comment, heart, light bulb, tag people, share this on your profile pages. Let's get more people out of the conversation. But also, I also ask questions. Like this is your chance to ask questions. We haven't actually had any questions, so put some questions down below so that we can answer. Otherwise, I'll just keep bugging Dan with the questions I have, which is my next question, which is because I always have lots. So now let's talk about conversations within the actual messages, right? So how do you strike up conversations there? Because I've been I'll share a little story. Okay, so one time I was asking someone a legitimate question, how are things going and whatever. And then he started responding, and then after about 4 or 5 responses, he's like, "Are you a bot?" I'm like, "What makes you think I'm a bot?" I'm like, "Well, you're just so responsive, and you're just so asking pointed questions. Like, are you trying to tell me something?" "No, I'm just trying to get to know you." And he didn't believe me. And after a while, and then he was like, "Listen, I'm a digital marketing expert, and I can tell you that this is not effective." And I said, "I can tell you." I said, "Look, I'm a connection expert, and I can tell you that this is legitimately me. If you can't see that, then I question your ability to be a digital marketing expert." It was hilarious, but he thought that was a bot. He couldn't believe it.
And what scares me about that is so many people are using automated systems, or so many people are using copy-paste, pre-prepared sales segments inside of a DM. So best practice for me is, as far as taking conversations into DMs or emails or onto Zoom, I treat that as though somebody has invited me into their home. Okay? It's personal. It's close, right? Yeah. I would never walk into somebody's home and puke all over their house. I just wouldn't do it. It's rude. Nobody wants a guest to come back who comes into their home and pukes everywhere. So I try not to do that. What I try to do, and with LinkedIn, what I love about LinkedIn is you can leave an audio message.
Yeah.
AI bots, to the most part, cannot do that well.
Great. I have not used that as much as I should. People keep telling me to do that, and I never do, because it's just not my natural instinct to do it. But it's not. You just press a button and you just talk. It's amazing. Yeah.
So it's only on mobile. You can't do it from desktop, which is a bit of a irksome thing, but no problem. Everybody's got a smartphone. But I make a point to do that. When somebody starts an engagement in a DM, I wanted to follow you, I saw you on live, yada, 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 or whatever, I always make a point to give them a voice message and say, "Hey, how's it going? I really appreciate you taking the time." And again, this is about bringing value in conversation that grows relationships inside of a community. Twitter, one of the reasons I'm so hot on Twitter, it's the only social platform that allows a video reply. So I will, anybody that tags me on Twitter after a LinkedIn Live, after a YouTube video, I guarantee they get a video reply from me. So you'll see the same office. It's not a copy paste. I've got one video that's set to go. It'll be personable. It'll have your name in it. And I make sure to address whatever question or comment you had. So I really love that genuine authenticity that audio and video provide in the DM. So those would be my 2 best practices. Act as though you've been invited into somebody's personal space and respect that. And be as genuine as you possibly can using tools like audio and video messaging.
That's great. Audio messages are great on LinkedIn, video messaging on Twitter. Actually, this is being live streamed on Twitter, like Periscope, as well as on Facebook. So if you want to reply with a video message on what you thought, that'd be cool. You can reply with a question, and hopefully I can maybe tag. What's your Twitter handle so people can tag you there as well?
It's Millennial Motivator, but it's still kind of funny. I'll put it in the comments when we're done here, and that way you guys can tag me. There's a great question here from David Alto again.
Let me moderate. This is great. So there's a great question here from David
Alto again. He's just firing on all cylinders for us today. Do you interact differently with your posts versus your articles? I love this one. Absolutely. So when I create an article, what I'm considering that is, okay, I have a point of authority that I feel needs long form content to really flesh out. So more than on a post where I don't let people get away with just a generic comment of this is great. My article took time, it took effort, it took some research, it took planning. If you drop this is great, guaranteed I'm going to give you about a paragraph back going, that's fantastic. Which aspect of this article do you feel is great? How do you, like, I'm really going to try to flesh out a conversation inside the article because of the time I've invested into it. I really want to make sure that if I invested that time and you say this is great, that you actually did take something away from it.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, I'm the same way when I do a speech. And someone says, hey, I love your speech. Okay, but what? Give me some feedback. And also, my article, the article I wrote on Twitter, I actually wrote an article on the Twitter 280 when they switched from 140 to 280. That thing took me like 12 hours with research and all this stuff. And so, yeah, but now when I really want to engage people, I think it's critical. And for me, for my posts versus articles, I'm pretty much consistent. Whether it's a comment on my post or a comment on my article, if they ask me something legitimate, I think that I will respond in a thoughtful way and try to answer their question. So for me, it's kind of my way of doing it. But I understand you make a great point about the fact that you put a lot more investment into the articles, particularly the research stuff. And so, yeah, we need to make sure that we respond and create that conversation going. Let me also
crazy thing happens when you do that too. LinkedIn rewards not content frequency. It's about content engagement. And when I say engagement, I'm not talking likes. That's a vanity metric. Reach is a vanity metric. Engagement is the actual conversations happening and when people consider resharing it to their community. When you dive into conversations, when you wrestle to make sure that everybody gets value from what you're putting out there, you're going to see your articles and your posts go a lot further and engage more people because you're willing to have those conversations. So don't feel like you're being too intrusive by starting conversations in the comment section.
Yeah.
It's actually to your benefit to do that.
I totally agree. Now let's segue a little bit into other platforms. So this is mostly on LinkedIn, but what about other platforms? You mentioned Twitter. So let's talk about starting conversation on other platforms and how you prefer to do that. And I'll share mine as well.
So with Twitter, what I love about Twitter is it's real time.
Yeah.
More than any other social media platform, it is a real-time platform. Yeah. So as soon as I'm watching my feed, I dedicate portions of my day, 15, 20 minutes here or there in my calendar to being active on social media. So I watch the latest tweets come in, and the second I see one that I can offer insight into or appreciate, video reply goes down. And I know that person is still on their phone because I pump out a video in 30 seconds. So that person is still looking at the tweet that they just put up. There's often a conversation created immediately, and there is a certain wow factor to the fact that there was a video reply. Mm-hmm. So when I started back in January, really committed to video replies, at that time, I was probably seeing about 10,000 reach on my Twitter content in a month.
Yeah.
Not huge. By the end of January, it was 1 million.
Wow. Now, when you reply with a video on Twitter, do you also add a little bit of text too? Or how do you do that?
Yeah, always a little bit of text. So I do most of my tweeting from desktop instead of from mobile.
Sure.
And always copy to give them some insight into what the video is about, but I never write a book. It's really just enough to tease you to hit play on the video and watch what I'm talking about. And I never get somebody that's frustrated with, well, why didn't you just type that? Because often I have more to say than 280 characters is going to allow.
So something like, I wanted to share my thoughts on your point about this. Check out my video just for you. Like that type of thing?
Never say check out your video. I never give a call to action. It's understood. If there's a video there, I probably am going to elaborate on what the copy is. So I never go deeper. I never say check out this video. It's I really love the point that you made about this, and that's it. And obviously, if there's a video attached, people go, well, you piqued my interest. I want to know what about that is actually intriguing you. And what's amazing to see is it's not just the comment to the creator itself. Their whole community is seeing that as well in the notification. All the people they've tagged in their post are seeing that as well. And it really creates some pretty cool conversations and people trying video replies themselves for the first time. Nice. And now you've got live video to video conversation happening, which it really lights my fires. When communities start engaging in real time with conversation online, I really feel that's where social media is headed, and Twitter's in a perfect place to make it happen.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad I enjoy Twitter as well. And what about any thoughts on Instagram and Facebook?
Instagram and Facebook, I'm currently in a bit of a a squabble with. And my reason for that is I understand investors. I understand you've got a board to report to. I understand you are a publicly traded company. However, when I'm dealing with something like I want to build communities and relationships, I want organic reach and I want organic engagement. When I see two platforms that are so flooded with pay-to-play models and automation and bots and messenger bots and artificial likes, follows, and commenting, I get a very sour opinion very quickly. And for me, it's, well, yes, I understand there are great groups on Facebook where there's genuine engagement. However, I'm not going to dig through a pile of fertilizer to find a piece of gold when there's a pile of gold sitting on Twitter and LinkedIn.
I see.
I'll just go to where the communities are genuine, where there's genuine engagement and conversation happening everywhere, instead of me having to dig through the muck.
That's interesting because, I think most people are focused on LinkedIn and Instagram as the two main ones where they're engaging people. Twitter is something that a lot of people are maybe thrown off a bit or they're not really into as much. But I've always said Twitter is extremely relevant because for me, Twitter is what's amazing. Number one is the timeliness, the responsiveness. It's so immediate, which is great. Number two, like whenever there's anything going on in the world, whether it's an earthquake or something amazing happen, right away, video, tweet, photos on Twitter right away. It's so immediate. Number two is accessibility. Like I can, I'm not the connection of certain people on famous people, whatever, but on Twitter, I feel like they're accessible because I can say, hey, you're amazing, or you suck, or whatever I want to say. It's actually kind of cool. That accessibility piece is actually quite, it feels really good for a lot of people. So for me, like Twitter is I think still relevant. They just have to figure out a way to grow their user base because it's not doing very well, but I definitely still like it. I still think it has huge benefits compared to other platforms.
Yeah, there's a lot of stability on Twitter, which I like. And whenever Instagram goes down, it's really interesting to me. As soon as Instagram goes down, everybody's on Twitter immediately. Everybody comes over to Twitter.
Yeah, sure.
And it's like, oh, hey guys, welcome to the party. It's great to see you. And for me, the innovations that they're making with their video platform, Twitter video is massive. It's just a massive beast. The insights that they provide on their analytics now to video is phenomenal. Their media studio is second to none. I actually prefer their media studio to YouTube. Cool. So like they've made a lot of changes, and the more Instagram keeps going down, it's just to Twitter's benefit. So not to harp too much on Instagram, my hope is that they come more and more back into a social platform. And some of what they're doing with getting rid of likes and followers, I love that move. That is such a phenomenal move to say we don't care about these superficial vanity metrics that are just baseless numbers. What we want are people to actually engage with content of value. That's what we want. Great content, great people engaging in real ways. So I will applaud them for that move.
And two things I'll add. One is that, even though Facebook and Instagram may be, full of paid ads and bots and things like that, but that also makes an opportunity for those who want to create authentic, genuine conversations to actually, push through the clutter. So that's the first thing. The second thing I'll add is the whole point about Facebook. So what I will say about Facebook is actually where I've had the best conversations in my life, and social media ones. And the reason because Twitter, it's limited in terms of conversation. I mean, yes, you can do video, yes, you can, but it's hard to go as deep, and after a while, it's harder. But on Facebook, what I find is that you have a focused, deep conversation about, let's say, a social justice issue, and you go dive in, comment and reply, and I love that because let's say I'm at a dinner party and I'm talking to someone about, let's say, a deep conversation, let's say about social justice, or let's say poverty, and then all of a sudden someone, hey, Bobby, how's it going? And someone interrupts my conversation, and then it's really hard to get back that conversation. Well, with Facebook, I have a really focused conversation, and we basically go all the way down, explore until we're pretty much done. And I love that aspect. It doesn't happen on other platforms. It doesn't really happen. Like, you can do it, but it doesn't happen as much. That's the one thing I love about Facebook. And also for me, Facebook, I'm having conversations with people that I really care about, which are most of my good friends. So I like having that as well, as opposed to randoms, although randoms are also good once in a while. So, I'm not promoting Facebook. I'm just want to make sure we cover all the different social media platforms.
Yeah, I see a comment from Alisa saying Instagram users are younger audiences. When I check my Twitter demographics, actually my major demographic is 18 to 35-year-olds with a 60-40 split male-female. So my primary demographic is actually young users that would be claimed to Instagram. It was surprising to me when I broke out my demographics. I had expected it to slant a little bit older, but I find Facebook and Instagram, I actually have a much older demographic than Twitter.
Yeah, and again, I think everyone's audiences will differ. I mean, again, sure, there are dominant age groups, but like these platforms are just enormous, and so even if you attract a million 18 to 24-year-olds, right? They're gonna follow you. So I think there's a lot of people out there. There's another great question by Dave Weaver. What would be the same prompts? What would be some prompts from you used to get the conversation started besides thoughts? Are you tagging people? If so, how many per post?
Yeah. Okay. So LinkedIn, their latest algorithm, they gave a suggestion, and the suggestion was only tag people if it's relevant.
Right.
So if you tag 15 people and nobody comments on the post that you tagged, LinkedIn's going to go, well, that's spam, and down you go.
Yeah.
So for me, when I tag people, if I put up an image and I'm tagging people in it, it's because I think that they are either thought leaders in whatever that's addressing, and they have some insight or some value in that industry, or it's people that I'm directly addressing. And I will state that in the comment of this person, this person, this person, I consider to be deep thinkers in this area, would love to have their insights as to something specific. So not general thoughts. For me, that's like dropping the comment, I like this. Instead, I'm asking a very specific question. So here's a piece of content about TikTok and how it's used for business. I may tag a couple people that I know are constantly looking at new social platforms, guys like Carlos Gill or Roberto Blake, and saying, okay, guys, here are my insights on this. I really feel like this is an emerging platform that has huge opportunities and benefits for business. What are your thoughts on business using TikTok actively? It's always a very specific, pointed question. It's not something general that's very loosey-goosey. If I'm going to comment and tag someone, I want it to be purposeful.
Yeah, and I think to that point, I think asking specific questions is really important. Also, I think it's good to just ask one question per post. So you don't want to ask like 3 questions. Make sure it's really just one clear question. I think that's very important. And then when it comes to tagging people, yeah, relevance is really important. I understand. And here's the thing: like when I first started out back in the day, I was tagging more people than I was because I was trying to get traction. And I'm happy to forgive people for doing that, particularly if they're just starting out. And I understand that. I don't know people. They tag a ton of people in the comments, like, and I'm like, God, how do you have time to tag like 100 people? It blows my mind, but they do it. All power to them. And then the other question, the other thing I'll throw in is that some people I know, influencers like myself, they get annoyed with tagging, right? I'm grateful. Anytime someone tags me, it's like I'm grateful for the fact that they thought of me, whether it's relevant or not, to think, oh, I'm thinking of Bobby Umar and I'm tagging him. I'm grateful because even if it's not relevant to me, you're thinking of me, which means what I'm doing is working. It means that I'm getting people's heads and hearts, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do. So I'm full of gratitude for that kind of stuff, and other people are not. But I just want to put that out there. There's gratitude for some influencers are grateful, some are not. It's good to know which ones are. And there's some people who actually message me and say, Bobby, please tag me. I'm like, they want to be tagged. Okay, well, if they tell me, please tag me in your next post. I can't remember this, but I will try to tag you in this post if I remember.
And that's really how community is supposed to work, right? Yeah. If you've got relationships with people and they're of value, that should happen. You should desire that interaction to be happening more frequently. And I'm the same way. When I see a tag, I don't just go to the comment and hit the like button. I go and see, okay, well, what's the piece of content they're sharing? Is it a podcast? Great. It'll go in my walking playlist. Or if it's an article, I'll read the article. It takes what, 2 minutes for you to read an article? Like, just read the darn article and offer some insights into it. Somebody in your community thought that you had something of value to bring. Don't let them down. Show them that you do have something of value to bring to what they had offered to LinkedIn.
Awesome. And, speaking of conversations, we are gone quite overboard, but it's good because people are engaging, which is awesome. I'm always happy to do that. Thanks, Dan. I really appreciate you being here. Now, if anybody has any last minute questions, you can put them in the comments and we will answer them. Otherwise, we'll probably have to end it. And again, once again, this is the Power Connection channel every day, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday to Friday. I'll often bring guests like Dan to talk about their expertise, and we focus on topics of leadership, personal branding, public speaking, career development, entrepreneurship, but whatever kind of floats your boat. But it was in my purview. But I like to bring experts who can add and complement what I bring, and we can have some really deep conversations. So if you like this program, by all means, come again tomorrow morning. Bring other people, tag them, like, and share us on your pages, and let's build up the Power Connection community. And I think and comment below if you think I should bring Dan again. Bring Dan the man again if I can. What do you guys think? If you think so, just show him some love. Comment below. Just say Dan's the man, and the man who can, and I will bring him back. And that will be. Does that sound good with you, Dan?
It sounds great. Anytime I can have coffee with you, Bobby, I'm in.
That's
Have a great day, guys.
All right. All the best. And we'll stay on for about probably 15 seconds to make sure it doesn't get cut off. But thanks, Dan. All the best, everybody. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.
I feel like we need outro music here, like Jay Leno style.
I was thinking like music.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly it.
There you go. Okay, there you go.